Hello students, today I am going to start class 10th mathematics and the name of the chapter is metals and non-metals. Before going to discuss about these concept, you already learnt in the previous classes in class 8th and 9th about the elements, atoms, compounds, mixtures, right? So till today we are having 118 elements in our modern periodic table. On the basis of some categories or on the basis of physical appearances, we are going to be classify these elements as two types, basically two types. First one is a metals and non-metals. We are having one more category also, that is metalloids, right? So in this chapter just we are going to concentrate on the metals and non-metals. Metals are the elements which forms positive ions by losing their electrons. Those metals are known as electropositive elements. Electropositive elements. Let's start the first concept of your chapter, that is metals. Elements can be classified as metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. On the basis of their physical properties, we are going to classify the elements as a metals and non-metals. The first concept is metals. So we already know the metals. Give some example for metals. Metals are the tin is a one kind of the metal, lead, nickel, gold, platinum, copper. So these are the some of the metals. Let's see the definition and some information about the metals. A metal is a material. A metal is a material or substance, an element, compound or alloy that is typically hard, opaque, shiny and has good electrical and thermal conductivity. Metals are generally malleable, that is, they can be hammered or pressed permanently out of the shape without breaking or cracking, as well as fusible, it means able to fuse or melt, and ductile means able to drawn out into thin wires. About 91 of the 118 elements in the periodic table are metals. Some elements appear in both metallic and non-metallic forms. For example, gold, silver, iron, copper, etc. In the next chapter, classification of the periodic table, you are going to study about the classification of the modern table. That modern table we are going to be classified as a four types: S block elements, P block elements, D block elements and F block elements. In that modern periodic table, D block elements, most of the S block and D block elements are belonging to metals category. Let's see the some physical properties of metals. Later we will discuss about the chemical properties, how the metals will be react with the non-metals, how the metals will be react with the oxygen, and how the metals will react with the acids and bases. Okay, let's see the physical properties of metals. The first property is lustrous. Lustrous. So what do you mean by lustrous? Metals have luster. This means they are shining. So lustrous means all the metal surfaces will shows the shiny surfaces, for example gold, copper or silver, iron. So all these metals are having shiny surfaces. Metal possesses a characteristics shining appearances are called as a metallic luster, and they can be polished. In some of the elements like graphite and iodine, they are also metals, but they do not shows. Graphite and iodines are also shows the shiny surfaces, but they are belonging to non-metals. So this is the first physical property of the metal. See the second property, ductility or ductility. So metals are ductile, that is they can be drawn into thin wires. For example, gold, copper, silver and iron. So this is one of the special characteristics of metal. Metals are ductile. This means metals can be drawn into thin wires. Because of this property, a wire is made up of metals. Metals are ductile, that is, they can be drawn into wires. All the metals are not equally ductile. It means the different metals are having different ductile capacity or ductile strength. For example, gold and silver are the best or most ductile metals. It is estimated that 100 gram of silver, if you are taking 100 gram of silver piece, it can be drawn into a wire up to 200 meters in length. Similarly, a gold piece of size 50 paisa, a gold piece of size 50 paisa can be stretched into 10 kilometer long. So just you can imagine the ductile power of the both gold and silver. Because of its ductile nature, copper is used in the electrical wire. Copper is used in the electrical wire. So most ductile substances or most ductile metals are gold and silver. The next property is density. Metals have high density. So density means what? Metals have a high density. It means the composition of the particles existing in the metals are highly compressible. We are not going to observe any kind of the interparticle space between these atoms or between these elements. Metals have high ductile or high density because there is a little empty space between the atoms. Atoms are tightly packed or atoms are highly closely packed together in the metals. For example, iron, copper, gold, etc. They are highly having high density. So metals have high density except sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium also the type of the metals, but they have low densities. Which have low density, because of low densities, sodium, potassium, magnesium and aluminum are called light metals. Due to its low density, these metals were going to be considered as a light metals. So what are the light metals? Sodium, potassium, magnesium and aluminium. So these are the some of the examples for low densities. Most of the metals have high density. Most of the metals are high density. Because of that, they feel heavy for their sizes. See the next physical property, that is conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are the good conductors of heat and electricity. That is, it allows heat and electricity to pass through it easily. For example, again gold, copper, silver and iron. These are the some of the metals which have good conductors of heat and electricity. So all the metals are the good conductors of heat and electricity. Silver is the best conductor of heat and electricity, while lead is the bad conductor. Even lead is also one kind of the metal, but it is a bad conductor. That's why lead is considered as a poorest conductor of the electricity. So silver is the best conductor of electricity, and it allows heat also. The utensils we use in kitchen are made up of zinc, copper, aluminium. Because of these metals are good conductors of heat also. All the metals are good conductors of heat and electricity because they can contain free of electrons. It means all the metals will loses their electrons. It means they are electropositive elements. These free electrons conduct electric current. Silver and copper are among the best conductors of the electricity. And we are having some more elements or metals like gold, aluminium, tungsten, iron, mercury. They are also having higher resistance power to flow the current. The electrical conductivity of metals decreases with their rise in temperature. This is because which the rise in temperature, the vibration of core electron increases, which creates which opposes to flow the electrons. And we are having one more exception here. One more exception case is graphite is also a good conductor of electricity, but graphite is considered as a non-metal. Graphite is a non-metal. Even though it is non-metal, graphite is a good conductor of electricity. That's why we are using the graphites in batteries also. So this is the one more characteristics of metals. See the next one, sonorous. Metals are having one more special characteristics, that is sonorous. When metals are sonorous, it means that it makes a sound when it hit with any object. When any metal is hit with, or when any metal is opposes with any other non-metal or metal, it will produces the heat. For example, bells, strings of the guitars, etc. So these are the some of the examples. Through these examples we can say the metals will produces the sound. When the metals is struck with a hammer, it produces the sound. So that kind of the metallic sound we are going to be considered as a sonorous or sonorosense. See the next property of the metals. Metals are hard and softness. Metals are generally hard in nature because all the metals are having rigid appearances, in that atoms are tightly packed. Due to its tight composition, metals are generally hard in nature. For example, iron, copper, gold, etc. These are the some examples. Through this example we can say that metals are hard in nature. Most of the metals are very hard. However, sodium and potassium, we are having two more metals like sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are also metals, but they are soft metals. These metals we can easily cut with the help of the knife also. So other than these metals, all the metals are hard in nature. These two are the exception cases, sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium also metals, but they are soft in nature, and these metals we can easily cut with the help of the knives also. See the next property. The next property is metals are malleability. It means metals are malleable. This means that metals can be beaten into a thin sheets. Because of this property, iron is used in the making of big ships. Metals are malleable, that is, they can be beaten into a thin sheet with the help of hammers. Again, some of the examples: copper, iron, gold, aluminium. So these are the some of the metals we already observed. Aluminium foils, silver foils or gold foils. We can make these foils with the help of the hard metals only. When we beaten these kind of the metals, it will be converted as a thin sheets. Gold and silver. Gold and silver are the best metals which have very high malleable nature. It means these metals we can beaten into thin sheets. As we already discussed in the ductility nature, gold and silver are drawn into thin sheets or thin wires. So malleability is also one kind of the ductility. In the ductility we can convert the metals into a thin wires. In malleability we are converting the metals into thin sheets. Let's see the next property: melting and boiling point. Melting and boiling point. Metals have high melting and boiling point. Metals are having high melting and boiling point due to the presence of very tightly packed atoms or high rigidity. All the metals are having high melting and boiling points. Metals have high melting and boiling point, but there are some exceptions we are going to be observed here. Sodium and potassium. Sodium and potassium are the soft metals we already discussed in the previous slide. So sodium and potassium are soft metals. They can melt and boil at low temperatures also. And we are having one more exception cases: gallium and cesium. Gallium and cesium are also a type of the metals. These two elements also belonging to the metals. They can easily melt in our form. It means the melting and boiling point of these elements like gallium and cesium are having low melting and boiling point. The melting and boiling point of these metals is around 36 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius. When we keep the gallium and cesium in our forms, they will be easily melt. So other than these two metals, all the remaining metals are having very high melting point and boiling point. Let's see the next characteristics. So other than these, the metals are having some of the special characteristics. And the state of the metals. Metals are generally solid at room temperature. So all the most of the metals are solid in nature. For example, gold, silver, aluminum, right? So these are solid in nature. We are having one more exception case here, mercury is also one type of the metal, but it is liquid in the room temperature. And next one, we can make a alloy formation. Metals can form a homogeneous mixture in the combination with other metals, such as a mixture is called as alloys. We already discussed in the first chapter the making of alloys. In the alloys, we are going to be combined two or more different metals combined together and form a new metal. By the making of alloys, we can prevent the rusting of the metals. For example, copper and zinc. Once we are going to mix a copper and zinc, we make a brass. With the help of these two combinations, we can get a one more metal, that is brasses. Okay, and next one, metals are having lustrous nature. It means all the metallic surfaces are shining in nature. And next, metals are having very tensile strength. Tensile strength, it means if the substances are rigid in nature, means they have very tensile strengths. Next one, the next property of the metals is, most of the metals what we are observing in the modern periodic table, most of the metals are generally having the electrons in the outermost cell. The electrons are valencies are 1, 2 and 3 only. Due to its lower electronic valencies, they can lose the electrons. For example, sodium, magnesium and aluminum are the metals as they have 1, 2 and 3 electrons respectively in the outermost cells. Even we are having two more elements like hydrogen and helium have in their outermost cells 1 and 2 electrons. In the outermost cell of the hydrogen, we are observing only 1 electron. In the outermost shell of the helium, the atomic number of helium is 2. That's why we are going to be observe only 2 electrons in the outermost cell of the helium, but they are not a metals. And these cases, the outermost shell is the first and only the cell of K. Later we will discuss in the next chapter the classification of the elements. We are going to discuss about the electronic configuration, how the valencies will be classified, on what basis we are going to be giving the number of the valencies. Once we understand the atomic number, number of electrons, number of protons, we can easily write the electronic configuration also. With the help of this electronic configuration, we can easily identify the valencies. In the outermost shell of the element, how many electrons are existing, that will be indicates the number of the valencies of that particular element. So all the elements are electropositive characters. All the elements will show the one more special character, that is electropositive character. It means they always loses its electrons. So these are the some of the physical properties of metals. Now come to the next concept of your chapter, that is non-metals. So non-metals also elements that do not conduct electricity and are neither malleable or neither ductile. For example, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, bromine, neon, argon. These are the some of the examples for non-metals. Non-metals are elements which forms negative ions by gaining an electron. It means if the metals will loses electron, means the non-metals will be obviously gains that electrons. So non-metals are the elements which forms a negative ions by gaining the electrons. Those nonmetals are also known as electronegative elements. Metals are electropositive elements and non-metals are electronegative elements. See, some of the examples are given here. The first one is carbon. This is diamond, carbon, and next one phosphorus, sulfur. So these are the some of the examples for non-metals: bromine, neon, argon, oxygen, nitrogen. These are also some of the examples for non-metals. Let's see the definition of the non-metal. In chemistry, a non-metal or non-metal is a chemical element that mostly lacks metallic attributes. Physically, non-metals tends to be highly volatile. Highly volatile means they can easily vaporized, have low elasticity, and are good insulators of the heat and electricity. Chemically, they tend to have high ionization energy and electronegativity values, and gains or shares electron when they react with the other elements or compounds. 17 elements are generally classified as a non-metals. So out of 118 elements, 17 elements are considered as a non-metals. Most are gaseous in nature. First one is hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, chlorine, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. One is in a liquid form, that is bromine. Bromine is also one of the non-metal which is present in the liquid state, and a few are in solid state like carbon, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium, and iodine. Again, these non-metals are available in three different states. Some of the non-metals are available in solid state, some of the non-metals are available in liquid state as well as in gaseous states. So out of 118 elements, we are going to observe 17 elements as a non-metals. Let's see the physical properties of non-metals. The first physical property of non-metal is malleability. Non-metals are not malleable, but they are brittle. Brittle means breaks easily. For example, sulfur and phosphorus. Sulfur and phosphorus. So most of the non-metals are brittle in nature. Next one, duct. The second property is ductility. Non-metals are not ductile. Again, we are having some examples for ductility, that is silicon and boron. So these are the non-metals which do not have any kind of the ductility. Let's see the next property, sonorous. Non-metals are not sonorous. That means it cannot produce when it hit with any hammer. For example, bromine and fluorine. The bromine and fluorine, when these two elements are hit with a hammer, with the help of the hammer, they will not produce any kind of the sound. Let's see the next one. The next property is density. Most of the non-metals are have low density. Most of the non-metals are have low density. Non-metals generally have a low density. For example, hydrogen and carbon. Hydrogen and carbon have low densities. melting point and boiling point. Melting point and boiling point. Non-metals have generally low melting and boiling point. Non-metals have low melting and boiling point. For example, bromine and fluorine. So this is also one of the characteristics, physical characteristics of non-metal. Next one, hardness and softness of the non-metals. Hardness and softness of the non-metals. Non-metals are not hard, rather than they generally soft, but the diamond is the exception. It is the hardest naturally occurring substances. Non-metals are generally soft in nature, carbon and phosphorus. Other than these non-metals, we are having one more non-metal like diamond. Diamond is the hardest substance in our nature. See the next property, that is conductor and heat, conductors of heat and electricity. Conductors of heat and electricity. So most of the non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity, even though we are having one more non-metal like graphite which is a allotrope of the carbon. In the next chapter, carbon and its compounds, we are going to discuss about these kind, graphite, diamond and Buckmaster fullerenes. We are going to discuss about these three concepts. These are the three main important concepts in the carbon and its compounds chapter. So graphite is a non-metal which is allotrope of the carbon. It's a good conductor of electricity and it is one of the exception cases in non-metals. So other than this element, most of the non-metals are generally bad conductors of heat and electricity. For example, iodine and neon. Let's see the next characteristics. Other than these, we are having some of the characteristics, that is luster. Non-metals are dull appearances. We are having one more exception case here, diamond. Diamond is also one of the non-metal. Diamond and iodine are the non-metals which have very shiny surfaces. And the state of the non-metals, most of the non-metals may be appearing in the solid state, liquid state as well as gaseous state. And next one is color. Non-metals are available in different colors also. Carbon is a form of the graphite. Carbon is also one type of the non-metal. It is a form of the graphite, is a non-metal which is a good conductor of electricity. Iodine is a non-metal which is lustrous, having a shining surfaces. And next one, carbon in the form of diamond is a non-metal which is extremely hard. Diamond is considered as the hardest element in the nature. Diamond is the most non-metal which has very high melting and boiling points. So these are the some of the physical properties of metals and non-metals. We will discuss some exception cases in the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. The first exception case is carbon in the form of graphite. When carbon is available in three states, like first one is diamond, second one is graphite and third one is the Buckmaster fullerenes. In these three forms, graphite is also one type of the non-metal. Even it is non-metal, it's a bad conductor of, it's a carbon in the form of graphite is a non-metal which conducts good electricity just like a metal. Graphite is a non-metal. Even though it is a non-metal, it is a good conductor of electricity. That's why we are using these graphites in the batteries also. And these graphites we are using the pencils also. The pencil lead, it is made up of the graphites. Let's see the second exception case. We already discussed in the previous slides also. So second exception is lustrous. Iodine is a non-metal. Iodine is a non-metal which is lustrous, having a shining surfaces. Iodine is a non-metal. So most of the non-metals are having dull surfaces, even though iodine is a having very shining surfaces just like a metals. So this is a one of the exception case. Next one, hardness and softness. Hardness and softness. Alkali metals like lithium and sodium. Alkali metals like lithium, sodium and potassium are the soft just like a non-metals. Carbon in the form of the diamond is a non-metal which is extremely hard just like a metal. See here, lithium, sodium and potassium. Lithium, sodium, potassium, they are metals. They are metals. These metals are soft in nature. These three elements and these three metals are soft in nature. Lithium, sodium and potassium, they are belonging to the category of metals. Even though they are metals, it will soft in nature just like a non-metals. But some of the non-metals like carbon, the allotrope of the carbon, diamond is also one type of the non-metal. One type of the non-metal which is hard substances, which is available as a hard substance in the nature. The hardest element in the nature is a diamond. Okay, so these are the some exception cases of metals and non-metals. Let's see the next one, physical states. Mercury. Mercury is a metal, right? Mercury is a metal. If it is metal means all the metals are hard in nature, right? And atoms of the metals are tightly packed and all the metallic substances are rigid in nature. But mercury is the metal, but it is a liquid at room temperature. We are observing in the thermometers we are observing mercury is available in the form of liquid. Even in the room temperature also these mercury is available in liquid state. And we are having two more metals like gallium and cesium. The gallium and cesium are the metals, they have very low melting and boiling points. Okay, see the next one. The next exception case is about the metallic and boiling points. Sodium, potassium and cesium, gallium metals have low melting point. So all the metals are having high melting and high boiling point due to its a solid rigidness nature. Even some of the metals like sodium, potassium, cesium, gallium are having low metallic and melting and boiling points, low MP and BP, melting point and boiling points. But non-metals are having low melting and boiling points, right? So all the non-metals are having low melting and boiling point. If you boil or if you melt in the little bit means in the low temperature, the most of the non-metals will be get melted. So even though some of the non-metals like diamond is a non-metal which has a very high melting point and boiling point. So this is also one of the exception cases in metals and non-metals. Next one, density. Alkali metals like lithium, sodium and potassium have low densities just like a non-metals. So these are the three elements having low densities. Let's see the differences between the metals and non-metals based on the properties of physical, or the physical properties. On the basis of physical properties, we are going to distinguish between the metals and non-metals. The first one is, the first column it indicates the metals and second column about the non-metals. Metals are Metals are malleable, non-metals are non-malleable or brittle. Second one, metals are ductile, non-metals are non-ductile. Exactly opposite, right? Next, third one, metals are the good conductors of heat and electricity, whereas the non-metals are the bad conductors of heat and electricity. We are not going to consider the exception cases here. Don't consider the exception cases. For example, graphite is a non-metal, right? Graphite is a non-metal which is a good conductor of electricity. When we are writing the differences, we are not going to be consider the exception cases. Okay, next one, see the fourth difference, metals are lustrous and can be polished, non-metals are non-lustrous and cannot be polished. Fifth difference is metals are solid at room temperature. Mercury is also one type of the metal, but it is liquid in the room temperature. Okay, metals are solid in room temperature. Non-metals may be solid, liquid or gases at room temperature. See the sixth one, the melting and boiling point of metals are generally high. Non-metals have low melting and boiling point as compared to the metals. Next one is, all the metals are strong in nature due to its high composition or rigid composition. Metals are strong in nature. Non-metals are weak in nature. The next difference is, generally metals are hard in nature. So most of the non-metals are soft in nature. And ninth difference is, metals are heavy in nature. Non-metals are lighter substances. And the next one is, metals are having the one more special characteristics, that is sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. So these are the some of the differences between the metals and non-metals on the basis of their physical properties. See, we are having some more differences here. Metals are the good conductors and good conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals are the bad conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are malleable, that is, they can be beaten into sheets. Non-metals are non-malleable. Metals are ductile, that is, they can be drawn into wires. Non-metals are non-ductile. Metals are sonorous and non-metals are non-sonorous. Metals have very high tensile strength. Due to the high tensile strength, high attraction power or high attraction force is available between the existing atoms in the metal. Non-metals have low tensile strength due to its low attraction between the molecules. Metals have high density and the non-metals have very low densities. Metals have high melting point and boiling point, whereas the non-metals are having low melting and boiling point. And the next one is, metals are combined with the oxygen and forms the basic oxides. Later we will discuss about the chemical properties of both metals and non-metals. Non-metals are combined with the oxygen to form a acidic oxides. When metals are combined with the oxygen, it will produces the basic oxides. When non-metals are combined with the oxygens, it will produces the acidic oxides. So this is the main difference between the metals and non-metals. Okay, in the next class we will discuss about the chemical properties of these metals and non-metals and activity series of the metals, Till then, be happy, have a nice day. Thank you.